The 48 Laws of Power, Part 7, Laws 34-41. Power is not just about controlling others. It's about understanding human nature and making the right moves at the right time. Whether you want success in your career, business, or personal life, knowing how power works gives you an advantage. Welcome back to Books at a Glance. Today, we continue our deep dive into the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. We'll cover Laws 34-41, breaking them down with historical stories, modern business lessons, and practical applications. Let's begin. Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. People judge you by how you carry yourself. If you present yourself with confidence, authority, and dignity, others will respect and follow you. If you appear insecure, needy, or unsure of yourself, people will dismiss or dominate you. This law teaches that self-perception influences how others perceive you. If you want to be treated as powerful, you must act as though you already are. Society naturally follows those who seem important. The world has always had kings, leaders, and figures of authority. But what separates them from ordinary people is often not birth or wealth. It's the way they carry themselves. Whether in history, business, or daily life, those who demand respect through their demeanor often receive it. One of the best examples of this law in action is Christopher Columbus. Born into a modest family of weavers, Columbus had no noble lineage, wealth, or status. Yet he envisioned himself as a great explorer worthy of royal support. When seeking funding for his voyages, Columbus didn't beg for money or act like an ordinary sailor. Instead, he approached the Spanish monarchs with the demeanor of a man destined for greatness. He demanded royal privileges, high-ranking titles, and a share of the wealth he would discover. Most explorers would have been happy just to receive financial backing, but Columbus set his price high and carried himself as if he was already a nobleman. His confidence and grand vision convinced Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand to invest in him, even though they had initially rejected his proposal. Had Columbus acted humbly, he would have been dismissed as just another sailor. Instead, by presenting himself as a man of importance and destiny, he was treated like one. Modern-day applications. At work. Employees who act with confidence get promoted faster than those who always seek approval. In business, entrepreneurs who believe in their ideas attract investors. Elon Musk's confidence in Tesla and SpaceX convinced people to support him. In social life, if you respect yourself and set high standards, others will treat you with respect. If you let people walk over you, they will. Key takeaway: if you want others to respect you, act as if you already deserve that respect. Confidence, posture, and self-belief are essential. Law 35. Master the art of timing. Power is not just about taking action, it's about taking action at the right time. If you move too soon, you may seem desperate or fail because the conditions aren't ready. If you wait too long, opportunities may pass you by. This law teaches that timing is everything in power. Those who act impulsively often make mistakes, while those who hesitate miss their moment. The key is to develop a sense of timing, knowing when to wait, when to strike, and when to let things play out. By mastering timing, you can control situations instead of being controlled by them. One of history's greatest masters of timing was Joseph Fouché, a politician during the French Revolution and Napoleon's rule. Unlike many of his peers who took sides too quickly and were later executed, Fouché observed power shifts and acted only when the moment was right. During the French Revolution, he supported the radical Jacobins and voted for King Louis XVI's execution. But when the Jacobins fell, he quickly switched allegiance before he could be targeted. Later, when Napoleon rose to power, Fouché waited and adapted, becoming one of Napoleon's trusted ministers. But when he sensed Napoleon was losing control, he secretly negotiated with his enemies. When Napoleon fell, Fouché was not only spared but given a position in the new government. By carefully timing his moves, Fouché survived multiple regime changes while others perished. Had he acted too early or too late, he would have met the guillotine. Modern-day applications. At work. If you ask for a raise when the company is struggling, you'll likely get rejected. But if you wait until your contributions are highly valued, your chances increase. In investing. Warren Buffett's strategy is based on waiting for the right time to buy stocks instead of following trends. In relationships, bringing up a difficult topic at the wrong time can lead to unnecessary conflict. Waiting for a calmer moment makes discussions more productive. Key takeaway: learn to read the moment. Sometimes waiting is the best move. Other times hesitation can be costly. Know the difference. Law 36. Disdain. Things you cannot have, ignoring them is the best revenge. The more you show that something bothers you, the more power you give it. If you obsess over what you cannot have or react angrily to criticism, you make your weakness visible. This law teaches that the best way to deal with frustrations, insults, and unattainable desires is to ignore them. By showing indifference, you take away their power over you. The world is full of provocations. People will try to get a reaction out of you, competitors will attempt to pull you into petty fights, and sometimes what you desire will be out of reach. Instead of wasting energy, disdain it, move on, and let it lose its importance. Michelangelo, the legendary Renaissance artist, was surrounded by envious rivals. Some artists, unable to match his talent, tried to bring him down through criticism and gossip. One of his biggest rivals was Piero Soderini, a Florentine politician who criticized Michelangelo's work on the famous statue of David. He pointed out a minor flaw in the nose and arrogantly told Michelangelo to fix it. Instead of getting angry, Michelangelo climbed up the scaffolding and pretended to make adjustments while dropping some marble dust to make it look like he was working. Then he stepped down and asked Soderini to check again. Satisfied, Soderini said, "Much better," even though nothing had changed. By disdaining the criticism and handling it cleverly, Michelangelo made Soderini look foolish without direct confrontation. Had he argued, he would have given Soderini more power. Instead, he controlled the situation with indifference and intelligence. Modern-day applications. At work. If a colleague is trying to provoke you, responding emotionally gives them control. Ignoring them makes them powerless. In business, companies that focus on attacking competitors instead of improving their products often fail. Apple doesn't waste time criticizing Samsung. It just builds better products. In personal life, if an ex-partner or rival is trying to make you jealous, ignoring them takes away their power. Key takeaway: if you can't have something, make it seem worthless to you. This gives you control over your emotions and others. Law 37. Create compelling spectacles. People are drawn to drama, spectacle, and grand displays. If you want to hold power, you must capture people's attention in a way that distracts them from your real intentions. Throughout history, rulers, politicians, and businesses have used visual drama and powerful symbols to impress and manipulate the masses. Instead of arguing or explaining, they create memorable images that influence people on an emotional level. If you learn to use spectacle and symbolism, you can control narratives, inspire loyalty, and make yourself unforgettable. Louis XIV of France, known as the Sun King, was one of history's greatest masters of spectacle. He understood that power was not just about ruling. It was about creating an image of divine authority. Instead of fighting his nobility directly, he distracted them with lavish ceremonies, grand architecture, and carefully crafted performances. His palace at Versailles was designed to dazzle and overwhelm anyone who visited. The daily rituals of the court, such as the king's morning dressing ceremony, le lever, were turned into elaborate performances where nobles competed for his favor. By keeping everyone focused on his grandeur, He ensured that no one questioned his authority. The spectacle made him untouchable. Had he relied only on laws and military force, he might have faced rebellion. But by controlling perception through spectacle, he ruled absolutely. Modern-day applications. At work, a well-designed presentation with visuals is more engaging than a dry report. In business, Apple's product launches are carefully staged theatrical events that create excitement. In personal life, a surprise birthday party or an unforgettable romantic gesture makes a stronger impact than simple words. Key takeaway: people remember what they see, so make sure your message is memorable and dramatic. Law 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Society values conformity. If you openly challenge traditions, beliefs, or norms, people may resent, fear, or attack you. Even if you think differently, you must blend in to avoid unnecessary hostility. This law teaches that powerful people understand human nature. They keep their true thoughts hidden, while outwardly adapting to the expectations of their surroundings. By doing so, they gain trust, influence, and the freedom to act strategically. Rebels who openly defy society often meet resistance, exile, or destruction. But those who hide their true thoughts and move subtly can change the system from within. In the 16th century, Nicholas Copernicus discovered that the Earth revolved around the sun, not the other way around. This idea challenged the powerful Catholic Church, which believed in a geocentric, Earth-centered universe. Instead of announcing his discovery immediately, Copernicus kept his findings private for decades, knowing that open defiance would bring persecution or death. He released his work only near the end of his life, when it was too late for the Church to punish him. Had he openly opposed religious doctrine, he might have been executed like Giordano Bruno, another scientist who was burned at the stake for similar beliefs. But by waiting and working quietly, Copernicus planted an idea that later transformed the world. If your thoughts are too radical for your time, hide them until the moment is right. Modern-day applications. At work. If you want to introduce a new idea, frame it in a way that aligns with company values. In business, a brand that shifts too radically may lose loyal customers. Gradual change is smarter. In social life, expressing extreme opinions in the wrong crowd can lead to rejection. Key takeaway: people resist open nonconformity. If you think differently, keep it hidden until the time is right. Blend in outwardly to gain trust and influence. Then you can shape change from within. Radical ideas succeed when introduced gradually, not aggressively. Law 39. Stir up waters to catch fish. People who lose control of their emotions become easy to manipulate. If you can make your enemies angry, fearful, or anxious, they will react impulsively and make mistakes. This law teaches that by stirring up emotions in others, you can throw them off balance and gain the upper hand. Powerful people remain calm while provoking others. They use mind games, deception, and psychological tricks to push opponents into making rash decisions. Once their target is emotionally unstable, they strike at the perfect moment. In the 15th century, Charles the Bold, Duke of Burgundy, was a powerful ruler who wanted to expand his territory. His biggest opponent was Louis XV of France, known as the Spider King for his cunning tactics. Instead of confronting Charles in battle, Louis used psychological warfare. He spread rumors, bribed Charles's allies, and planted false intelligence. Charles became paranoid and angry, attacking enemies who didn't exist and making reckless military decisions. Eventually, Charles led his army into an unwinnable battle and was killed, all because he let his emotions control his actions. Meanwhile, Louis XV stayed calm and controlled the game from the shadows. Modern-day application. At work. If a competitor or coworker loses their temper, stay calm. Let them make mistakes while you keep your focus. In business, A company that responds emotionally to criticism can damage its reputation. Staying professional builds trust. In arguments, if someone is trying to provoke you, staying calm takes away their power. Key takeaways. People who get emotional are easy to manipulate. Stay calm, and you control the game. By provoking others subtly, you can make them act irrationally. The best revenge is letting enemies destroy themselves. Law 40. Despise the free lunch. Nothing in life is truly free. Everything comes with strings attached, whether you see them or not. When someone offers you a free gift, favor, or deal, there is often an agenda behind it. If you accept it blindly, you may find yourself indebted, manipulated, or trapped. Powerful people understand that self-reliance is key to maintaining control. They avoid being dependent on others' generosity and prefer to pay for what they need. This ensures they owe nothing to anyone and remain independent in their decisions. This law teaches that true power comes from never being in a position of obligation. If someone offers you something for free, ask yourself what they might want in return before accepting it. The most famous example of this law is the Trojan horse from Greek mythology. The Greeks, unable to conquer the city of Troy after a 10-year war, devised a clever trick. They built a massive wooden horse, pretending it was a gift for the Trojans, and left it outside the city gates. The Trojans, thinking they had received a free victory trophy, eagerly brought the horse inside their walls. But hidden inside were Greek soldiers. That night, the Greeks emerged from the horse, opened the city gates for their army, and destroyed Troy. The Trojans accepted something for free without questioning it and paid the ultimate price. Modern-day application. At work. If a coworker constantly helps you, they might expect loyalty later. In business, free trials often come with hidden charges or upsells. In personal life, beware of people who always give but never ask. There's often an unspoken expectation. Key takeaways. Nothing is truly free. Everything has a hidden cost. If you depend on free favors or gifts, you lose control. Always ask, what does this person want in return, before accepting anything? Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. When you take over from a powerful predecessor, you are stepping into dangerous territory. People will compare you to them, and if you fail to live up to expectations, you will look weak and incompetent. This law teaches that to establish your own power, you must break away from the shadow of your predecessor. Instead of continuing their legacy, create your own path, your own identity, and your own vision. If you don't, you risk being seen as nothing more than a cheap imitation. Powerful people make a clean break from the past and establish a new era that is distinctly their own. Alexander the Great built one of the largest empires in history. He was a brilliant military strategist and leader, and his soldiers were fiercely loyal to him. But when he died suddenly, his generals tried to take over his empire. Instead of carving their own identities, they fought over who could be the next Alexander. Their obsession with copying him led to the empire falling apart because none of them had his unique leadership or vision. Modern-day application. A new CEO should not try to mimic their predecessor, but bring fresh ideas. If you take over a successful project, add your own improvements instead of just maintaining it. In creative fields, copying a legend makes you look like a lesser version. Develop your unique style. Key takeaways. Never try to copy a great predecessor. Create your own identity. People will compare you to the past, so break free and make a fresh start. True power comes from defining your own path, not following someone else's. Power is about strategy, patience, and understanding human nature. These laws apply to business, relationships, and everyday interactions. The question is, how will you use them? Let us know in the comments. Which of these laws do you see in action around you? If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to Books at a Glance, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. We'll be covering laws 42 to 48 soon. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.